Hey guys, Cheesy Boy Chessmate here to talk about this thing. Or this thing. Well, we're just gonna be ranking all the Flash games that we played. Roll VT.
Disappointment in the game of life.
I can't believe you guys subjected me to this game. But in all seriousness, going through, I'm trying to do a Shea-Phyllis parody and I can't even do it properly. So this game, I'm really glad that I basically made it so that way when I get bored, I stop playing the game, because, man, it is really boring, and the atmosphere is really atrocious. If you look at the tier list that I have on screen right now, I have it in the description below. You guys will know what it is. I'll put a bunch of stuff around it. Anyways, it's atrocious. I'm not even joking. They put it on the bottom of the tier list. I'm putting the bottom of my tier list because this game is so boring. Oh, look, it's a rusted block. It's not even a square block. It's a rectangular prism, and that's supposed to be special because that's how you... because the puzzles rely on it being a 2x1 instead of a 1x1x1. And it's like, no, this is such a dumb puzzle, and I figured stuff out really quickly. But I get so bored trying to figure things out. You know what, I'm done with this. Peace, have fun. This Flash game is F tier. ISO Ball 2. The reason I didn't like this one is because it was basically the same game. It was the same game, that's about it. They had virtually the same puzzles. I don't even remember if they had different pieces. It was such a bore to get through this one. At least ISO Ball was easier to do, so that way it was less bearable to finish. Okay, I'm gonna be controversial here. Sugar Sugar 2 is not a bad game, but the reason I put it in bottom tier is because, oh my gosh, it is so slow. You guys probably saw my Sugar Sugar 2 speedrun, and if you guys didn't, yeah, there's a reason why I did that as a joke. Nobody wants to play that game. Sure, in Sugar Sugar 1, the game is really slow, but at least it was much easier to figure out. Sugar Sugar 2, I love all the new stuff that they added, but it just makes it so much more tedious to do. All the puzzles are just fine, but if you mess up one little thing, there's too many variables to take care of, and if you mess up once, you have to completely start over your entire work that you've been working on for about 5 minutes, and that last little piece of sugar just wouldn't go in.
This video is not targeted towards kids.
ISO Ball. This was actually not the worst. I mean, it's in D tier, or is it C tier? I can't even remember my tier list. But, you can kind of tell that it's kind of a bland game, just from the fact that I don't really know too much to talk about. Imagine the marble tracks that you guys used to make as a kid, except now you need to get from one place to another. And that's the entire premise. It's just as boring as you think it is. I've seen literal Roblox games based on roller coaster tycoons more exciting than this. Yay, the ball's rolling into the hole. Wow, what an amazing accomplishment. Alright, Sugar Sugar. Let's just get rid of all the mediocre ones while we're still here. Sugar Sugar I used to like a lot more as a kid just because it wasted a lot of time. Playing it now, it was still okay. It's fun to work with all the puzzles, trying to get all the sugar into the cups, but man, how much sugar do you need to get into those coffees? I mean, nowadays I drink my coffee black. Why do you need to put that much sugar in your coffee or your tea? In all seriousness, I really like the inventiveness of this game. The fact that the sugar comes out of the comma is comical, no pun intended, and I don't know, just because it's the first one, I give it a lot more leeway, and it's a really creative idea for a game on coolmathgames.com. Yeah, I don't know how this has anything to do with math, but it has good puzzles, and I'll take that. Although the game is a little long, but I mean, if it burns an hour of your life that you don't want to burn in school, then that's good enough for me.
A duck walked up to
Duck Life. Duck Life is good at what it does. Also, first of all, the PlayStation logo, just ignore that, the thing that was up before. So it's not atrocious. The game is okay, it's just a little bland. I haven't played 2 or 3. I'm pretty sure they would rank a lot higher since I'm pretty sure they did a lot more stuff. And I think the tier list that I put in the description does do that. The only problem with this game is that it's just so repetitive. All you do is, ooh, you fly a bunch. Oh, you jump a bunch. Oh, you swim a bunch. And then you have to basically just sit back and watch your duck do something. You can't even help your duck. That's all you do. All you do is train. I've seen games like this before. Captain Crunch has done it. I'm not going to show Captain Crunch this version because that was on JonTron's video. The fact that it took me 3 separate videos to get this game done is kind of testament to how dull this game kind of is and how drawn out it is. If it wasn't that drawn out, I'd actually rank this a lot higher. Key.
Review!
Me and the Key 2. Okay, so the reason this one ranks so low compared to the, well, I mean, you guys will figure it out, but the reason I put Me and the Key 2 lower than 3 or 1 is because Me and the Key, it's the first one. You can't really blame them if they do anything bad. You know, the second one has to be better in comparison, and it isn't. It's literally just the same game. It's the same game. It looks the same. The puzzles are almost the same. There's nothing different about it. I do not have anything else to say. If you make the same game twice, it's kind of just boring. Come on, do better. Key.
Review!
Me and the Key 3. Okay, so when I first played Me and the Key 3 as a kid, I actually hated this game the most because, oh, different art style. Oh, it's so lame. The penguins don't look the same. It's not a duck. But I grew to like this a little more. The fact that they're in the water, they're penguins swimming in the water, I really like the creativity of that. And they added new features, which I really like. Like the penguins that move together, that was really nice. And I could be remembering wrong, but I think they also went into the water, which I don't think Me and the Key really did. So it was a nice change of pace compared to the second one. Me and the Key, the final one. So this is the one that kind of started the trilogy. I know I put all these videos in, all the games into one video, but these three I felt like I needed to grade separately. Really solid game. I really appreciate what it does. You can just ignore the dog in the background. And if the audio sounds a little different, this is because as this is actually post editing chessbait, realizing that I messed up in the editing and I need to re-record the audio. The game's really simple. You know, they give you really simple tasks that you can get done really easily. It's nothing too complicated, and I appreciate what it does. You know, all you need to do is just look for a key. It's a penguin that looks for a key. Do you need to know why? You don't. So all you need to do is look for the key, and I appreciate that.
Number 15.
Run 3. Okay, so the reason Run 3 ranks the lowest out of all the Run games is because it's basically Run 1, except instead of a square, you're in a hexagon. Sometimes. I like the addition of new characters, the new aliens. I just didn't wish that you have so many branching paths. I remember when I recorded this, I said, hey guys, if you want to see more Run 3, make sure to like and comment in the description below so that way I can make sure to play more. I never did it again. I never did. I never thought about going back because I knew that Run 3 would take ages to finish because there's so many branching paths. It's like the equivalent of trying to get every single good ending and bad ending and neutral ending. It's that meme put on steroids. And Run 3... Gah. Ninja Painter. So this game, I'm gonna be real with you guys, it's really cheesy, it's really lame. The ninja looks really terribly made, and the whole idea of painting, the mechanics are kind of iffy because, oh, like if you go over the X with a red paint, it's good, but if you go over a green paint, then it doesn't actually paint, you know, stuff like that. Just ignoring those flaws. When you think about the game as a whole, it's actually not that bad. When you consider the fact that it has decent puzzles, it's just the right amount of time. I think it's like 30-40 minutes to complete. That's I think how long it took me to play this, and you know, it's a good time burner. You know, if you want to ever play something on the internet that wastes a bit of time, you know, the Flash game, I'd recommend this one. It's a little lacking because the puzzles are a little uncreative. They're a little too easy to solve as long as you just don't mess any inputs. Besides that, I really enjoyed for what it is, but it's missing a lot. You know, it's nothing special. That's all I have to say about it. Solid B for Ninja Painter.
Mario, I don't understand.
Alright, Super Mario 63. You guys know that I have 4 hours worth of content on the internet. And I'll be real with you guys, this was supposed to be my first Let's Play, not Pokemon Uranium. And the reason I didn't do Super Mario 63 is because, man, that game got annoying. Someday I am willing to 100% it if you guys really, really want me to, but I don't think right now's the time. I tried quote-unquote speedrunning it, and that ended up terribly. I think the main problem is that the frame rate drops way too often. The flash sprites and the game itself is actually not that bad. The whole thing about the orb is kind of ridiculous, but considering how ridiculous the Mario franchise has been, I'm just gonna let that one slide. Speaking of slides, this sure does have them. I don't remember. I tried to just speedrun through most of this game. I couldn't care less about Super Mario 63 anymore. If you guys really want to see it again, I'll play it again, but you know, if I wanted to collect shine sprites, I'd much rather do that in Sunshine. Solid B. Maybe B plus. It's really hard for me to grade this game. I have such a bad relationship with it right now. Run, the original. Okay, this one's a solid B plus. The reason I don't rank it any higher is just because, you know, it's a little too simplistic. It's a little too short. The levels are really, I don't want to say well designed, but you know, it's good for what it is. The whole idea of, hey, you go on the wall and the gravity changes. That's really neat. And the fact that it's a little cute little alien walking on the floor, I really like that too. And the levels aren't too difficult. You know, the jumping mechanic is just fine. Sometimes you can cheat the system by going in between two tiles, and you'll basically be walking on two tiles at once. So the hitbox is a little wonky. But if you take that away, Run is the game that most people relate cool math games to, I'm pretty sure. The only other thing I can think of is Flame Boy and Water Girl, or whatever that's called. And, you know, it's iconic. Run is iconic. Everybody knows about the game. It's solid, and that's what we all came to cool math games for. Solid. B plus for Run, the original. Alrighty, Gateway. So, I'm a big fan of puzzle games. This has a lot of puzzles. A lot of them are good. Most of them, almost all of them are good. I really hate the color one at the end. They do not explain how to do that. It's all trial and error. Besides that, the rest of it's really well done. I'm trying to remember what the things are off the top of my head. Some of the bridge ones, I think, was this the one with the orb? Was it Gateway 2? I can't remember. But either way, they had some really solid stuff. You put items together to figure out how to use them. You guys got to figure out how. Why am I a blocky dude walking across this corridor? And you know, it's a pretty simple game, and I appreciate that. Solid B plus for Gateway as well. All right, now we're into the big boys, the 8 tiers. The reason I like Gateway 2 so much is because not only does it have a story, it also builds upon the previous game. I would rank this much higher, much higher. But it is very adult, if that's the way to say it. There's some really heavy themes that kind of exist in the story. I don't really want to talk about it because I wanted to make a bonus video for Gateway 2 for so long, and I never did because I was too lazy. And the only reason I'm doing this tier list is because I told myself not to be lazy. This game has even more, hey, you combine this item with this item and you get this, which you could put under this to reveal this. You're combining puzzles with not platforming. I mean, it's basically just puzzles on extreme. It's kind of like the dungeons in Legend of Zelda. I really appreciate for what they do, the creativity that they put into this, and the ending. It's really creepy, but I like it. Solid A minus? Yeah.
Hey, I'll take a number 9.
Alright, boys, let's go. Number 9, Run 2. I would rank this much higher if it wasn't so difficult to play. So Run 2 takes what Run 1 did, except they changed the ante a little bit. They made it so that way, if you touch a ceiling or any platform on a certain surface, that becomes the floor. And I don't want to understand how the physics of that works, but let's just pretend it works. The thing I appreciate most about this game is that you can either take the normal route, which, you know, is really easy to get done, burns about a good 10-20 minutes, or you could go for the special route to get all the special orbs, which I believe unlocks either special levels. Yeah, it unlocks special levels that you can play even further. And this is about an hour's worth of gameplay, which, you know, for a school game is surprisingly well put together. You know, there's a reason I put this so much higher than Run 3 and Run Original. It builds upon the first, and it's a different style of gameplay, but it's a style of gameplay that I can get behind. And that's what I appreciate about Run 2. Solid 8 out of 10.
I have had it with these snakes.
Alright, so this is going to be this one and the next one are going to be the really weird entries. Snake. Snake has been an iteration in almost everywhere. The oldest of smartphones, the oldest of flip phones. I'm pretty sure my dad's old BlackBerry had this game, and Brick Breaker, and those two are the games that I used to play all the time because I was never allowed to have a smartphone. But you know, that was all in the past. You go online, you play Snake for hours when you don't want to when you don't feel like doing anything. You just play Snake while talking to your friends, talking about whatever gossip's going on at school. It's such a nice casual play, and the fact that it's such a simple premise just makes the game even better. You know, it's just a dot going around, becoming a longer dot, trying to eat other dots. You know, I mean, it's the whole reason Slither.io exists. So if someone copied your own work, it can't be that bad, right?
What's in the box?
2048. Okay, so this is going to be even more weird. This is going to be even weirder to talk about than Snake, because 2048, it's not even a game. I mean, one, it is an actual Cool Math game, so it actually fits on the Cool Math game website. At least that's true. But more importantly, it's such a weird fit between all of these. Like, every single other game, you know, you work with puzzles, you work with platforming, and this is the one where you actually have to work with numbers. This is the only one, kind of. I mean, if you think about each block as a different, you know what, we're not going to go into the technical part of it. The reason I like this game is for the same reason I like Snake so much. It's casual, it's rage-inducing, but at the same time, you know, you can move on from it. There's no big stakes in the game. Getting 2048 is the biggest flex that you can ever give to a friend, but I mean, that's about it. You know, there's not really much else that you can really work with. You know, the game is solid. I really appreciate that it helps you remember your powers of twos. I guess that's about it. Jeez, I talked for longer about 2048 than I did about any other game. That's kind of embarrassing.
So I thought, what better game to play than Happy Wheels?
Okay, Happy Wheels. So, the reason I put this in A tier, I really know I should put this in S tier. There's two reasons why I put it in A tier. Oversaturation and really bad levels. Oversaturation is because so many YouTubers played it that it's kind of been run to death. And even though the classic YouTubers, the Jacksepticeye, the Markipliers, and the PewDiePies come back to it to play it every now and then, that's kind of the problem. Like, they're the only people that are, when they play Happy Wheels, that people are actually willing to watch. Like, let's be real here. Like, my Happy Wheels ASMR video, I did it as a joke, and people actually enjoyed it, but I really don't know if that had to do with my ASMR or to do with the Happy Wheels part. Maybe it was both. I don't know. I just thought it was a fun, bizarre idea. But, you know, the level, the fact that you can make your own levels in Happy Wheels is really nice. The only problem is, most of them is, ooh, throw the bottle into this hole. Or it's, oh, jump off the cliff and don't get spikes. Aha. I just wish people had a little more creativity. It's kind of like Super Mario Maker 2. I would rank it higher if it didn't have so many bland and unoriginal levels. That's about it.
Go back! I want to be Monkey!
BTD 3, Bloons Tower Defense 3. This is a classic. I mean, most of the Bloons Tower Defenses are. So I would rank this much higher if it was BTD 4, because I actually think that was the pinnacle of Bloons Tower Defense. 5 was decent, but it's slightly worse than 4, and 6 is just forgettable. I'm gonna be real with you. The reason 3 is, you know, S- tier, you know, low S, is because the tracks are a little bland. I mean, it's just, ooh, curve. There's no straightaways. There's too many curves. It makes the game a little too easy to play. When you consider how much range each monkey has, and, you know, each type of turret, it's a simple, ooh, you place this thing here and you upgrade it. And also the fact that there's no, the fact that 4 had a lot more efficient and better upgrades, and a lot more different types of pieces too. I don't know, I just appreciated 4 a lot more than I did 3, but 3 is still a really good play. Also, considering the fact that you can technically finish the game up, which is when you finish up to a certain level. You know, I appreciate a lot of that for what it does. Henry Stickman Collection. I really shouldn't be counting this. I really should be counting the Henry Stickman games separately, but I'm too lazy to rank them separately. Maybe I'll do it in the future when I edit it in the screen right now. Or maybe not, I don't know. But the Henry Stickman Collection, I really like that it's just a remastered version of all the games that they made. But they, you know, first of all, they memified it to heck. Like, man, the distraction meme, this thing was everywhere, and that was kind of the spawn of Among Us too. Like, this game made Among Us big. Let's be real here, and that's kind of impressive. You know, the different endings, the fact that you're never going to know what's going to happen. One time you're using a gravity machine and you completely melt into pieces, and another time you use it and you use it perfectly safe. You know, the fact that you'll never expect what's going to happen. Also, there's so many different endings and achievements. I'm going to have to go for that. It's, you know, I appreciate the stories, but I also appreciate the real-time mechanics. Everything's solid. Solid A for, or solid S for Henry Stickman boy. I really shouldn't have ranked this so high. Agario, the game that everybody used to play when they were at school, after school. I remember in high school that my friends used to always get kicked out of the library for playing Agario instead of doing homework on the library computers. I was one of those kids as well. I'm sorry, Agario was such a phenomenon back then when people didn't know how to get onto cool math games. This was a godsend, let's be real here. It's such a simplistic game that teaches about biology. Bigger thing eats smaller thing, but bigger thing becomes slower. You can literally teach an entire ecology class just using Agario. I'm not even joking. The sacrifices that you make when you split into two, the risk gain factor that you make, the whole what's it called? The whole animal kingdom and the social hierarchy that exists within, you know, different animal species. You can talk about that just using Agario because it uses all those concepts into a game mechanic. That's why I love this game so much. I hate that it died. I hate that there's so many bots in the game now, but I still love it so much for what it is. And every now and then I'm willing to go back and play it. And for some reason it got a bunch of views during my Drivecast video, so that bumps this up just a little more too. Solid S tier for Agario.
And now a little math problem.
I shouldn't have ranked this one so much higher either. Divide. There's no other way to describe it. You divide a bunch of blocks into a certain amount of pieces. Certain blocks you're required to divide into a certain amount of pieces. It's such a simple game. I love it so much. Divide is what happens when you take math and you take a game concept and you just mash it together in the most perfect way. Divide is such a dull game, but it requires so much brain capacity that you kind of just forget that you're in school and forget that you're actually learning how to divide and figure out what pieces to divide into. I forgot that I was actually using my brain when I was playing this game, so I just completely forgot about commentating. I'm not even joking. This game is actually half decent, and the fact that I put it in rank number 2 kind of just is testament to how good of a cool math game it actually is. You know, all you do is divide a bunch of blocks, but you have to actually think about, oh, maybe if I divide this, I get a little too much. If I divide this, oh, it's not enough, and I need to figure out within these constraints because I have to get all of these cuts. I like that. It's simple, but it's thorough, and that's what I appreciate most about Divide. Amogus, Among Us, The Drip. This was a phenomenon, let's be real here. I love the game, people love the game, streamers love the game, YouTube loved the game, the whole world loved the game. It was an algorithmic, psychological, space adventure, kind of. I mean, all you do is do simple tasks. The fact that, oh, all you have to do is drag a bunch of leaves into a vacuum cleaner. You have to take out the trash, put it into space. You have to count from 1 to 10 for some reason. You have to put this crystal together for some science experiment. Like, it makes sense. All you do is simple tasks that you know that people on a spacecraft probably would in the near future. The little cartoonish faces, the fact that they've been memed to ironic goodness and then back to unironic goodness. And it just keeps going back and forth. I just love everything about this game, man. The music, the fact that there's very little music, the fact that it was made by an indie game, indie software development team, which means, you know, it's another small creator getting the love that they deserve. The fact that the servers crashed when the game first got big because, whoops, I didn't expect so many people to be loving our game this freaking much. Oh my gosh, dude. Like, sure, Among Us was just a fad, and so less people are playing it now than they did back then, but it was still great for what it was. This is the game that killed Fall Guys. Let's be real here. Fall Guys is probably going to end up beating Among Us in the long run, but Among Us just dominated the internet for such a long time. It's so hilarious just to see that new streamers come into the limelight simply because of Among Us. This game created new personalities. That's hilarious to think about. I had a fun time playing it. I mean, you guys can clearly see from the Drivecast episodes that, I recorded these months back, but still, I love them still just as much. And there's no denying from everyone. Everyone's just gonna have to agree that Among Us is number one. Like, that's not even a question. Seriously, what are you gonna put in first? Block Source? Seriously, that game's literally just a piece of... Hey guys, Cheesy Boy oh wait,